Hey all, so in this video we're going to be going over consumer choice and utility maximization. Why couldn't the pony sing the lullaby? Because she was a little hoarse. So consumer choice. So we're first going to start off with this idea of the law of diminishing marginal utility. And so what this law of diminishing marginal utility is, other than a mouthful, is that the more you consume of something, the less satisfaction you're going to receive the more you consume of it. And consume can just mean buy, it can mean really anything, right? And so this should make sense, right? The first bite of an ice cream sandwich, right? You're going to get a lot of satisfaction from it. But let's say you eat the 100th bite of that ice cream sandwich. You are not going to get as much satisfaction from that 100th bite as you got from that first bite here. So the more you consume, the less satisfaction you get from each additional or each marginal bite there. And so what's the point? Well, the point is what we talked about in our last video, right? You are going to do something as long as the marginal benefit is greater than the marginal cost. In fact, you're going to consume goods up to the point where marginal benefit equals our marginal cost. And so here, let's look at a table. So let's calculate marginal utility. Well, how do we do that? Well, here, right, we start off with 0 slices and we have 0 total utility. Remember, utility just means satisfaction. And in this case, we're measuring satisfaction in dollars here. So here with 0 slices, we're getting $0 worth of satisfaction, which should make sense. So our marginal utility is 0. Remember, marginal just means additional. Well, here, from that first slice of pizza, we're gaining $8 worth of benefit. And so how much additional utility, how much additional benefit do we get from consuming that first slice? Well, from the 0 to the first slice, we gained 8 additional units worth of satisfaction. Well, with 2 slices, we're gaining 14 total units of satisfaction. But what's the marginal utility, right? Because it's not 14, because that $14 represents the total amount of satisfaction that we got from consuming both slices. But the marginal utility wants us, but for the marginal utility, we want to know how much satisfaction we're going to get from just eating that second slice. So from that first slice to that second slice, right, we go from 8 to 14. So we gained an additional 5 units of satisfaction. Well, what about the third slice? Well, from the second slice to the third slice, yet again, or sorry, this should be 6. I did my math wrong. 6 units of satisfaction, right? Well, from the second to the third slice, right, we gained an additional 5 units. From the third to the fourth slice, we gained an additional 4. From the fourth to the fifth, we gained an additional 2. From the fifth to the sixth, we gained an additional 1. And finally, with the seventh slice, we actually gained negative marginal utility. In other words, by that 7th slice, we don't want to eat anymore because our marginal utility, our satisfaction is in the negatives there, right? And so here, for making it look nice, this is what our marginal utility should be. Well, what is our marginal cost here? Well, if we look down at the bottom, it says how many pizzas would you buy if the price per slice was $2? Well, here, right, this should be pretty simple. Well, the marginal just means additional. So what is the additional cost from buying that additional slice of pizza? Well, if every slice of pizza is $2, right, then that means the marginal cost is just going to be $2 all the way down. And so now we can calculate marginal analysis. How many pizzas should you buy if this is our marginal utility and marginal benefit? Well, here, are we going to consume our first slice of pizza? The answer is yes, right? Because we're gaining $8 worth of satisfaction while it's only costing us 2. So our marginal benefit is greater than our marginal cost. Are we going to buy the second slice of pizza? Yet again, the answer is yes, right? Because we're getting $6 worth of margin, or $6 worth of benefit, and it's only costing us $2. So yet again, our marginal benefit is greater than our marginal cost. Right? Are we going to buy the third? Yes. Are we going to buy the fourth? Yes. Are we going to buy the 5th slice? Yes. Are we going to buy the 6th slice of pizza? The answer is no. The reason for that is our marginal benefit is now less than our marginal cost, or our marginal cost is greater than our marginal benefit. With the 6 slice of pizza, we're only gaining $1 worth of satisfaction. Right? We're only getting $1 worth, but we're paying $2 for that slice. And so because our marginal cost is greater than our marginal benefit, we are going to stop and maximize our satisfaction with that 5th slice of pizza. And so here, right, you are going to continue to consume until your marginal benefit equals your marginal cost here. But let's look at a slightly different example here. Well, here, if you notice, our marginal utility and benefit has changed slightly, but each slice of pizza is still worth $2, right? Oops, so that's 0. And then we get to 2, right? So each slice is worth $2. And so here, I want you guys to pause the video for a second and then look at how many slices of pizza should you consume based on this chart. All right, so the answer you should have gotten to was still 5 pizzas, right? But if you notice, our marginal benefit doesn't equal our marginal cost, right? We're gaining $3 worth of satisfaction from the 5th slice, but it's costing us $2, right? So we're still going to consume that 5th slice. We're not going to consume that 6th slice because just like our last example, we're gaining $1 worth of satisfaction and it's costing us $2. So here our marginal cost is greater than marginal benefit, so we're not going to consume that 6th slice. And so the reason why I brought up that example is that the marginal benefit never really truly equals the marginal cost. You aren't going to get like a nice pretty thing where the marginal benefit is $2 and the marginal cost is also $2. So in other words, right, you have to know that we are going to consume, right, up to the point where marginal benefit equals marginal cost, or at the very least, we never want to get to the point where marginal cost equals marginal benefit. Once it reaches that point, you are not going to consume any additional units, right? And so everything that we've been looking at as of so far has been looking at just one good. What is the marginal benefit from consuming one good? What is the marginal cost from consuming one good? And so here, if we want to compare 2 goods together, we can do that. So here, let's say you want to maximize utility. Which vacation should you choose, Tahiti or Chicago? Well, just looking at it at broad glance, we want to say Tahiti because it's getting us 3,000 utils. We're getting 3,000 units of satisfaction from going to Tahiti compared to only 1,000 Chicago. But there's a problem. These aren't like units. Tahiti and Chicago are 2 very different places. So how do we actually decide where to go? How do we actually use marginal analysis to determine which vacation spot will give us the most satisfaction? Well, we have to look at something called the marginal utility per dollar, which is just marginal utility divided by the cost or divided by the price. And so here, by calculating marginal utility per dollar, it allows us to compare products with different prices. It allows us to compare apples with oranges. And so we can never just look at just the marginal utility by itself whenever we're comparing 2 goods. And so now that we know what the price is, right, $3,000 and $500, right, we know that we should go to Chicago because we're gaining more marginal satisfaction from going to Chicago compared to Tahiti. So how's it actually going to look like on the AP exam? So you may get something like this. Not in color, but in black and white on a paper. Right? So remember, here we have 2 choices. We can either go to the movies or we can go go-karting. And so, what color should I use? Purple. So here, right, if we want to compare like things, we can't just compare the total marginal utility like 30 to 10, 20 to 5, right? Because we're comparing 2 unlike goods with each other, we have to use the marginal utility per dollar. So here, remember, it's just the marginal utility over the price. So for movies, it's just 30 over 10, which is $3. The second time is 2, then it's 1, then it's 0.5, right? 20 over 10, 10 over 10, and 5 over 10. Well, then for go-karts, right, we're doing the same thing pretty much, right? It's 10 over 5, which is 2, 5 over 5, which is 1, 2 over 5, which is 0.4, and 1 over 5, which is 0.2. So here, if we only have $40, and if $40, what is the combination of movies and go-karts that maximizes our utility here? Well, here, since we calculate the marginal utility per dollar, we can do that. Right? So here, what gives us the most satisfaction based on our marginal utility per dollar? Well, that is going to see the movie the first time. The reason for that is our marginal utility per dollar is 3, and that's the highest marginal utility per dollar out there. And because of that, that's what we're going to see first. And because going to the movie once costs us $10, out of the 40, we now have $30 left. We spent $10. Well, now what are we going to do? Well, here we're probably going to go go-karting, right? But then we'll also go to the movies, right? And so how much money have we spent now? Well, here we have we have $10, $20, $25. We still have $15 left to spend. Well, here we're going to go see the movie the third time, and then we're going to go go-karting a second time. So now how much money do we spend? Well, $10, $5, right? So here, if we're going to answer the question, what combination of movies and go-karts maximize utility? Well, it's 3 movies and 2 go-karts. Right? And so here, what is the total utility from going to see the movie 3 times and go-karting twice? Well, the answer here is pretty simple, right? We know what the marginal utility is, right? The marginal utility going to see the movie the first time is $30. The marginal utility going to see the movie the second time is $20, and the marginal utility going to see the third time is $10. So the total utility of going to see the movie 3 times is just 30 plus 20 plus 10, right? Which gets us to 30, 20, 50, 60. But then we still want go-karting twice, right? So we add 10 plus 15. So 60 plus 15 is $75. Right? And then for the second question, how much is the utility from 2 movies and 4 go-karts? Well, here we do the same thing, right? Now we just add 60 plus 5 because 30 plus 20, which is 50 because we want to go see the movie twice. And we can go see the movie go-karting 4 times, right? So 10 plus 5 is 15, plus 2 is 17, plus 1 is 18. So 50 plus 18 is 68. So if you want to go see the movie twice and went go-karting 4 times, that means, right, that our total utility is 68. And so this leads to something called the utility maximizing rule. What the utility maximizing rule is that we're going to spend our money up to the point where the marginal utility per dollar equals each other. So what this equation is trying to tell us is that we're going to spend up to the point where the marginal utility of good X over the price of good X equals the marginal utility of good Y over the price of good Y. This is just basically another way of saying we're going to consume up to the point where marginal benefit equals marginal cost. But the reason why we can't say this is because the marginal benefit equals marginal cost is only looking at one item at a time. And so if you're looking at the marginal utility per dollar, that's when we can compare unlike items or 2 or more items against each other. And so we use this rule subconsciously every single day. We don't actually do the calculation, but instead, right, we intuitively do this. All right, so that's all I have for you guys today. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.